Lucky and Lefty podcast. Honora boys, we are in the building. Of course, we are presented by FanDuel, FanDuel.com. Download the FanDuel app. 4.5-point favorites. That's right. 4.5-point favorites are the Fighting Irish as they go down the field to take on the Arkansas Razorbacks. That 64.5 over under total is a lot of points. I got a little faith in the defense of the Fighting Irish and Chris Ash this week. Left, they might hold them under that 64.5 as a total. But get that by downloading the FanDuel app or going over to FanDuel.com. And we're courtesy of Bleav Network as well. But when we win Saturday, lift that shot glass and make sure that you drink
responsibly.
Let's get it. Yep. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Make sure you comment. This is how we do it at Lucky X, Grand, TikTok. Go lock in with over the Bleav Network for the Audible edibles each and every day. We just dropped one a couple of minutes ago, about 7 minutes ago. New episode just dropped over at Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Presented by FanDuel. And on top of that, go to patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network. 5 shows, $5 a month. Once again, 5 shows, $5 a month. You get all of that great content added on to what we already give over at Bleav Network and right here on our YouTube channel. It's the Lucky Lefty podcast. We are the home of the misguided passion, and we are forever committed to making sure that we spin it. Yo, can I tell you something, man, that just messed me up, bro?
What's up?
Usually I would tell people like, man, I'll suggest, like, go watch this. And I still might suggest it. Yeah. Late last night, I got home from Bible class, and my wife, she had to work, so of course she was asleep already. So we spent a few minutes together, and she goes upstairs. And remind me to ask you a question, because I stopped and got me a veggie bowl from Chipotle on the way home. I have to ask you a question since you're a Chipotle aficionado. I have to ask you a question. But she goes upstairs, and I do a dive into this Charlie Sheen documentary on Netflix.
Oh gosh,
bruh!
What a loaded documentary. His revelations have you like, what?
I knew Charlie Sheen was a wild boy. But when someone when you already know somebody's a wild boy and they exceed your expectations,
when the whole story about him like getting off of it, and the dude just still sold it to him, but gave him lesser as the time went on.
Bro,
he was like, "I think it worked."
First of all, the night he said he linked up with Nicolas Cage, I was like, "Oh, I know what the rest of this is."
Yeah.
Him and Nicolas Cage, nothing needs to be said. Dude, for that cat Nicolas Cage to jump on the intercom on a flight to San Francisco, acting like he was the captain, talking about he wasn't feeling well. I said, dude, these the wild boys. It must be nice.
Wild boys.
It must be nice to be able to get away with things like that. Bro.
To get away all the time. I mean, they basically like had to put him in. They like, man, we don't know what else to do with you. You got to go to jail for your own safety. Crazy, man.
Man. Yo, but like at the age of 20, he was like top billing, bro. And he said something. He said, everybody teaches you how to handle adversity. No one really teaches you how to handle success. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, they do. It's called your morals and principles.
Yeah, but see, success will test your morals and principles, bro. That's the problem. You need to. I think when people become successful, people become scared to tell people like that the truth. Like, bro, you're bugging. Because like everybody's kicking it with them. And then the Heidi Fleiss stuff, bro. The Heidi Fleiss stuff. Like, come on, Charlie. You paying with traveler's checks, bro. Come on, man. Come on. I'm not hating on you, for the product you were trying to acquire, but man, a traveler's check, bro. Literally, what you're doing screams for discretion, bro. It literally screams for discretion.
Like, come on.
And you use a paper trail to pay? Are you kidding me? Come on, man.
When you've been doing whatever you want for so long, you start getting ridiculous. That's just what it sounds like. You just got to it. Like, come on, it is just like nobody did, but it's true. The only thing is the consequences come very sparingly when you're having it your way that often. So I guess if that means nobody teaches you to handle success, or maybe nobody can tell you anything when you get a certain level of success, it's two different things, man.
Yeah, because you don't understand it. And dude, like Hunter H said, the documentary starts with this dude telling a story about being wasted and flying the plane, bro. Like the pilots just let this dude come in the cockpit and took autopilot off and just let this dude fly the plane, bro. It's like, man, look, only in America, bro. Only in America, bro. Like, dude.
A commercial plane at that is just like
my heart immediately went out to movie stars and like famous people. Like, dude, you get away with murder, bro. So
that's just. I mean, if you get, I mean, that's so like the average regular. I mean, any other person that's a terrorist. Let's just think about the differences
in jail.
Yeah, like there's no middle ground on how extreme what he did was. Like, it's like what you did was people would think it would be terrorists, but you're Charlie Sheen, so it's just funny. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah, Ivan Sevilla. The funniest part, he got himself sober, was literally they tricked him into it. Like they lessened the drugs, but they kept giving it to you. They just lessened it. So but you're so like in your own world, you thought it just didn't work anymore. Like you just achieved.
Then you just straight stole the lead role from your brother in Platoon, bro. Just like this dude. He's heartless, bro. He's heartless.
But do you even have a sermon for that? Is there a sermon for a level of success so ridiculous where it's like you've exceeded like the regular state, like rules don't apply the same way? I don't know if there's a scripture for it, is it? Or it's like, what are you telling? I mean, it's like, dude, it's like the Johnny Manziel saga. Like
this is how to sum it up. I wish they had the line on this over at FanDuel because we're presented by FanDuel. The man was supposed to judge a bikini contest in Palm Springs, and his family had done an intervention and taken him to rehab. He made a deal with the lady at the front desk and signed a note saying, I will be back tomorrow by 8 o'clock or else I will give you $1 million. Had Nicolas Cage and the crew pick him up, went down to Palm Springs, kicked it, probably did every drug, and man, who knows what else they got into. And then came back and arrived at 7:45 and ruined that woman's whole day. That woman was 15 minutes away from being a millionaire, left. 15 minutes. She probably was sitting there like, oh, I'm quitting tomorrow. I am putting.
Oh my God.
You had the letter typed up already. Like, I'm out of here. I am out of here. I'm a millionaire. There's no way Charlie Sheen is going to be back for 8 o'clock. You hear this dude. He could have gotten back at 8:01. He could have gotten back at 8:01 and given that woman
easily.
Because she looked out for him. She looked out for him.
Looked out for him.
And she got nothing for him. Absolutely nothing. You know what I'm saying? She got nothing for it. He could at least give him a $50K. He gave her nothing. Nothing. He could have been 1 minute late, blessed her life, and went back to rehab.
It wouldn't even affected it. It wouldn't even have hurt him at all.
Jerk. Shirt. Give that woman her blessing, man.
Really showed up with 15
Shirt.
minutes.
Shirt.
Oh my goodness, man.
Today we're going to hear from Gerby Lambert, Jay Nosberry, Mike Denbrock. We're going to hear from Jeremiah Love and Gabriel Rubio. But first, I'll ask you the Chipotle question on the back end before we transition to the coaches and players. Let's get right to it, man. Early start, 11 o'clock down in Fayetteville. I feel for that woman, man. I hope when she was watching the documentary, she probably was like this
dude here, like he just out of all the bad mistakes and all the mess ups, you do this right? Oh, okay, right. Okay. You just
like, oh man, you gotta be kidding me. All right, LL, let's get to it. 11 o'clock kickoff. And left, what I've realized is that Arkansas and Notre Dame might be the same teams. Listen to me. We know the two close losses. Tie game, 4 minutes left down in Miami on the road against a top 10 team. Tough environment. They get the field goal to go up. You can't answer. Come home, Texas A&M. One of your worst defensive performances in the first half at Notre Dame Stadium. It was historically bad. It just really was. And then you come back and you lose the way you lose. Going up 7 points, just like you did the previous year late in the fourth quarter, only to have your third string quarterback drop the PAT, and then 4th and goal, bro. 4th and goal. You give it up. Two weeks ago, it's 41-35. Arkansas is driving down on the road at Ole Miss to win the game. And wide receiver Jaylen Brown fumbles inside the Ole Miss 30-yard line. Last week, it is literally 47 seconds left. Instead of kneeling and allowing your kicker to come out and kick the field goal, Mike Washington Jr. fumbles the ball.
And they lose the game.
Like literally, these two teams, from an emotional standpoint, are probably very closely related. The way they've lost the last two games, or the two games that they've lost, are very similar. Very similar. So I'm going to put before you whoever handles, or let me ask it this way, since we started off talking about this via the Charlie Sheen documentary. Will it be the team that handles success better, or the team that handles adversity better on Saturday that comes out with the victory? You see how I did that? Because they both, man, I was watching that Memphis game, like, you win, you give up a long touchdown to go down, and then fumble going in on the 7-yard line when all you needed was a field goal. Like,
Arkansas to me is more about them not being able to handle success as opposed to us, I believe, really us dealing with adversity, because we've seen a great version of ourselves and have handled success just last year coming out of a bad loss or a slow start. It's for us, the adversity is climbing back on the horse and keep going, where Arkansas has been rolling and then teetered when it got tight. When it got tight, they didn't know how to stay on the horse and fell off. That's a different struggle for us. We can get on the horse and ride through that thing. Our adversity is getting the horse out the stable, putting the saddle on them, getting, the whole process. And I think a lot of that is just something that we got to work through because we have a new team, just like every year is a new team. But these challenges aren't something that we're building off of. These are new challenges that are presented. Even though we're coming after a year we had new things that we needed to address, along with some old things that haven't gotten addressed. So I'm not, if this is week 8 and week 9 and we're having and experiencing these issues, that's a red flag. For it to be 3 games into the season in a small sample size and 2 of the teams are, pretty legit this season so far. I can't, and the way we lost on top of the point margin, it's not like it's a bad loss through expectation, not through actual on the field loss. Like, yeah, we made some mistakes, but everybody makes mistakes. It's more of like we expect so much more. We thought we was gonna go undefeated. So that whole mindset right there got you super critical of what we're actually watching. But no team will, I guess, no $40 million roster team is gonna roll out the gate just ready to win a championship. We saw that with Ohio State. They rolled out there, and you would have thought, man, they played tackle football the whole time. Like they never had it off season against a team that I guess college football wanted to be the beast of the year. But Texas, they're still far away from that. I think upholding that level of success anyway, regardless of who they got. But for us, I really do believe it's just a matter of a timing thing and us getting used to the shoes we have to fill. It takes 21 years to be 21. I don't expect Chris Ash to be a year 3 Al Golden in his first year. Like, it's just not fair. And yeah, nothing's fair, but we got to have some realism. At Notre Dame, you're not just getting fired after a couple bad games. We're not these other programs that you see around, you see in the comments and you see on Twitter, oh, they fired what's his name after 2 games, and then they tag a Notre Dame, Notre Dame coach. It's like, no, they don't. Notre Dame not a you get in and get fired super quick kind of place, like, because it's long enough and it's hard enough to get hired in the beginning. So they got Chris Ash. They was meaning on hanging on to him, for at least the beginning. Hell, Brian Van Gorder lasted 2-3 seasons, and they was complaining about him the first game. Well, he had 2-3 seasons, right? 2 seasons. Yeah, so we not just let nobody go, off of, like, we not looking like UCLA letting Sean Foster go after. You can't even say a sip of coffee. He didn't even get to sit down and enjoy the coffee. He just got the coffee to go. Like, that was terrible. So he ain't doing nobody like that. But it just shows you that I think Notre Dame knows more about Chris Ash, and obviously we do, or trust more about him than we do. Because even though Marcus Freeman is upset, he's not, quote unquote, taking over the reins, and numbers can fool you and can gaslight you into a lot more anger than what the reality is. We're hurt in spots, we're young in spots, we're, guys are transferred in spots. So it's, I think all of the things that are wrong with us are fixable, as opposed to an Alabama team who loses first game where there's like the whole culture's bad. They talking about the culture's bad. See, that's not us. We don't lose games and we turn and be like, oh, the program is in shambles and the culture's bad and nobody likes no, it's just we lost a football game. So as long as we can, that's when you start losing and you talking about off the field, that's bad. That's panic. That's, oh my gosh. Us losing a game by 3 points and 1 point, it's not worth causing a man to lose his job. I just think that's a crazy thing that people do. Like, sports is serious, but man, y'all calling for people's jobs so. Man, you know how hard it is.
The biggest opponent in life, at the end of the day, will always be the man in the mirror, because you set your own expectations, or you should set your own expectations. Notre Dame has set the expectations, bro. So now they have to fight themselves. Notre Dame's fighting themselves and expectations that they created. Marcus Freeman has set the expectations.
It's so high.
And he has to deal with that. So when
he's got to deal with it. I mean, I don't think there's because the expectation in reality is so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. We're talking about expectation of we can't lose less than 2 games in a season. That right there is like 95% of college football isn't talking like that. Hell, even the select few teams that have been pretty successful Clemson's not talking like that. Clemson's saying we can dominate the ACC. That's our stakehold. We're gonna give or take 3-4 games. You know, they cool with that. Ohio State, they not talking like that. Michigan, I don't even think Michigan can talk like, oh, we losing 2 games is the worst thing in the world. It's us, Ohio State, and Alabama, but Alabama's coming to grips. That Saban is not. They coming to grips, but it was rough for them. I told them the year before it was going to be rough, but they didn't believe it. They thought it was a fluke. No, this is real. It is not the same. Kirby can kind of say, you know, he can still say we can't lose more than 2 games, but we understand the SEC is different. But we're still talking about 3 teams that, as a fan base, as a program, everybody's on the same accord. If we lose 2 games, our life is over. Like, fire everybody, ship them away, get some transfers. It's ridiculous. Now, okay, that's one standard. That's on top of we need to be top 5 in recruiting. Well, we're you know how hard that is with what we're doing to ourselves? It's just, but if we don't have a top 5, oh, this is the worst season. Oh, Coach Freeman don't know what he's doing. We can't get no guys in. That's another standard. The other standard is now, if we don't have a top 5 defense every year, oh, we're just the worst team. Fire everybody. This is fire Marcus Freeman. And it's just like, come on, man. We got Shane Gillis. Shane Gillis ain't give up on us, guys. You know, he was on the team for a second. So I just think the expectations are so high that there is no coming down. Because now a new expectation that has been set is we're not missing the playoffs. So this whole regular season thing is like, it should be already sealed. Like, we have booked our first round at home. That's the expectation every season. It ain't championship is like, that's what we want to even put it higher at, which is even crazier. Every year we're supposed to win a championship. But right now, it's every year we're in the first round at home for the playoffs. So then when we talk about, so because of that expectation right there, our conversations of like quarterbacking is, can he win the second round game of the playoffs? It ain't got nothing to do with regular season. Our whole excitement about CJ is about potential playoff wins. It has nothing to do with beating Michigan, winning 10 games, you starting at Notre Dame, you're automatically saying, I'm a playoff quarterback trying to get to New York and do crazy things. And it's funny because we haven't had a guy like that. But that's just the expectation in the room. But the bar's set real low now. It's 3,000 yards get you talked about. It's very reachable goals to get that mark in the quarterback standard and expectation. It ain't like, you know, some of these other schools where you got to throw for 4,500 and you join in the club of 15. No. You throw for 3,000. You might mess around, get your jersey hung up in the rafters or something. The potential's there, but the expectation is just ridiculous, guys. And so I think Chris Ash is realizing that. I don't think even at Ohio State he was facing this kind of critique so early. I mean, we treating Chris Ash like he's Jared Parker, like he's been around. Like, no, he's at one of the finest institutions and programs in the world at Jacksonville. You know, and he lent his services over to Notre Dame under a different expectation. Right? Just a different expectation. Because Jacksonville, I mean, you saw what I know y'all see what we look like right now. scooped us up a division win, looking headed straight for the playoffs. I'm just saying. Hey,
the fact that you found a way to slide Jacksonville in there.
I'm just listen. Jack,
you know the Bengals season is over. And y'all can go do something else. If Joe Burrow's out, that's a wrap. That's a wrap. You guys can start looking at the draft.
Al Golden is a wrap. Al Golden, come on back. He come on back. If that's the case,
that would be music to Notre Dame fans' ears. If Al Golden told the Bengals, "I'm going back to college."
You think Marcus Freeman will let him back though?
Nah, he wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I don't think he could. Right?
He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that. Let me ask you this before we hear from Mike Denbrock. Let me ask you this, because you said something that I felt like expectations of this team. I really feel like they have to handle two totally different things. I feel like one team has to handle success on Saturday, and the other team has to handle adversity. I expect Notre Dame, because Notre Dame's problem has been handling success. When they've been successful and tied a game up or taken the lead, they haven't been able to close the deal. They haven't been able to make the plays late in the fourth quarter to close the deal. Multiple opportunities to do both.
No facts.
Do it both times in both games, but just couldn't get it done. Arkansas has literally had adversity. If you go watch that second half, they struggled and struggled and struggled. Couldn't handle the adversity. They struggled early. It got behind so much that they let Ole Miss get too far away. Like once Ole Miss stretched it out to a double-digit lead, that was kind of like the cushion they needed. So for me, I think both teams have to handle two different things, because they're going to have home field advantage. They're going to have the early start in their favor. It's a lot. Their passing attack against a questionable pass defense for Notre Dame, they have everything lined up. Can they handle that success, though? Can they handle, which I expect? I expect them to come out early, and I expect them to play well. I expect Arkansas early to play well at home. Can they handle that, though? Because Notre Dame has shown that they will punch back.
Right.
You might hit Notre Dame, but Notre Dame has pretty much shown this year, oh, we're coming back. Oh, we're going to punch back. We can't close in the championship rounds like Crawford had to do against Canelo. He had to close to win that fight based upon the scorecards, and he did it.
He did it, yeah.
Look, Notre Dame has been unable to close
or finish.
Arkansas, that for me, can Arkansas handle the early success that I think they may have? Can Notre Dame handle the adversity of being able to deal with the fact that they have not been able to close, and that's been their issue?
Close
they're in that position again. You know what? You're right. It has been closing defensively. On the tail of playing well in the third quarter, which is the trend.
Yeah,
playing well defensively in the third quarter, and then letting the rope go late in the fourth. Yeah. It's going to be interesting, Left. It's going to be interesting.
I just don't think offensively they can keep, like, even if Arkansas's best day offensively is 35 or less, if that, probably 30, 32 or less. best day offensively is that. And that's a lot of running, a couple turnovers, a quick score, maybe special team. So their best day can't produce what we just did last week. And that's us, I think, half equipped, half using our guys. So our whole thing is how many times can we create turnovers? And I think this is the game to really press on that, because if we can get up early on these guys, double-digit lead by the end of half, we'll sit at a much more comfortable position at an away field to be able to, manage and run our offense, because I think it is going to be a little wild, a new environment. We haven't been out there before. But at the same time, I do think we're more talented, just like the rest of our schedule. We're just more talented. So the only thing that can change that is due to turnovers. We let the crowd affect it, the momentum, and this, that, and the third. So I Bleav it's a challenge for our defense to get on them early, but also challenge themselves to get turnovers, because that's going to be a big key for me. Because we got it. I don't think it'll help if we're getting time managed to death. If they're doing 7-minute drives out of half, and they'll bleed you. They're not necessarily like they're explosive when they need to be and what they're trying to get to, but they'll bleed you with the run if they can, right? And that's always been something that's been tough for us at times. It's getting bled with the run, and then the passes are just like you're giving them up because we're committed so much to the run. I wouldn't even blame the secondary. It's just like you got one-on-ones because you're loading the box with 9 and 10 because they're just Ohio State gashing you in run game. I mean, it was just sick to watch. So we got a chance, but we got to get on them early. And then I think that also helps CJ slow the game down a little bit for him. This is his fourth start, second away game. Like, that's tough. And this is a crowd that's a little bit rowdier. I don't know if the stadium is as big. What stadium, like 80,000, 60,000?
77K.
Okay, I was close, but he should be fine, man. I think this isn't a talent, bigger, stronger team where we're like, oh, you gotta play perfect. He just gotta do his thing like he's always been doing. Just be in that insert where the variable fits. He didn't have to be the whole equation, just be the variable. Because we got enough to give Arkansas a long day with. We got about 3 or 4 guys that we give them a long day with. I mean, shoot, even if we started Jadarian, that's in of itself tough. Then you're gonna give him Jeremiah Love. Then Brock talked about this week maybe throwing some Kenny in there for the run game, which blows my mind because I'm like, well, what was the whole whatever? I ain't even gonna dive into that. But that would be a whole nother thing. So
that's Krantz. Thank you for the GTB. When Jag comes back, who goes to the bench and where does Jag play? I say Nap to the bench or we riot. LOL, the fact that they still have freshman Black running at guard, shaking my head. Well, do you want me to give you what should happen or what's probably going to happen?
They're going to keep
Charles Jagasaw is going to split reps at right guard with Derby Lambert. Will Black is probably going to get moved to left guard. Oh, nobody. They're not going to do anything to challenge it. They're not. Charles Jagasaw should immediately go to left tackle when he retires.
Yes, immediately. But he's not.
That's the short answer. But he's not.
They're gonna work him in slow. We don't want to throw him out there. He's gonna play right guard, play well, and then they're just gonna like keep him there until it gets so bad they'll move him there as consequence. You know what I mean? They'll just slide him over because they're like, we can't hold it off any longer. But it's a shame. I think if anything, Marcus Freeman should be aware enough to be like, hey, put Charles Jagusah at tackle, stop playing with me. Because, I mean, that's what everybody else is thinking. That's what should happen. Because that's that's his natural position. 2, that helps CJ the most, in my opinion, from the pass standpoint. If we're into this whole expanding the pass, because I believe if we had Charles Jagusah, the Burns kid from Miami, we would have had the Bain kid from Miami. It would have been a pretty good matchup. It would have been a pretty good matchup. We wouldn't look like that last play of the game. I tell you that. I guarantee you, if Charles Jagusah was at tackle, that last play of the game wouldn't look like that last play of the game. I'm just gonna say that. But
which side, left or right? They both look like they were doing the walk.
Yeah.
Emil Wagner looked like he was being frisked up against the wall.
What a crazy still shot that was. Like, that's why I don't like instant replays. It's too slow-mo and it's too embarrassing. It's just, I mean, spread eagle didn't get a hand on the man. No, that's the crazy part. The man ran around him like, don't want to see that again. But Arkansas doesn't have nobody like that. So that's why I'm like, okay, well, we should be able to get the passes off we need to. CJ has done a tremendous job of playing in the moment. It's not like we're getting moments in the drive and then it's stalled out because he do some goofy, throw it out of bounds or do some wild read or no, puts it in danger. No, it's like we run, okay, 7 yards here, 8 yards here. CJ does a great job buying time or whatever. We get a nice pickup, and now we're getting a drive going. So CJ's a great non-drive killer. And when you can just stack drives together in an away game like this and punish them with the run like I believe we can, I don't think it's going to be as tough as people make it seem. Like you said, this is a battle of us versus the mirror. We're going to go in there and twiddle our thumbs and act like this is the Super Bowl and make it so tough when we don't have to. Like, we psych ourselves out. That's what I'm going to. The Texas A&M game, we psyched ourselves out. If Marcus Freeman, even in the Purdue game, we're psyching ourselves out talking about we're running every coverage. That's not identity. So hopefully we can gain a better sense of identity in adverse times. So I agree with you that we're battling, handling success as a means of expectations because people just think we're supposed to steamroll these teams and they not supposed to score any points, apparently. I'm like, I thought 30 points is all right. But y'all like, no, they can't score nothing. Them boys in the locker room like, damn, we can't.
I wasn't worried about the points. I'm watching dudes trip over each other up front, fall on the ground up front. I'm watching I'm watching defensive tackles drop into coverage. It's just bad. Forget the score. I saw things on film that I said there is no way.
The worst thing, I promise you, the worst thing I'm seeing on film is the one-on-ones where guys are either getting swallowed up or just playing on the ground, like rolling around and all these fake moves they doing. It's too much. That's where the coach comes in and say, hey, if you do a spin or anything other than a power move to the ball, you're coming out the game. I don't care if you a senior or you a young dude, because this ain't, I don't want, because unfortunately they all doing it. And it's not like, okay, he's experienced dude, he trying to, it's he doing it at the same time. Maybe we need to huddle on defense where they strategize who's going to do the move. Because somebody got to be power. I'm seeing these deep tackles trying to swim and all that. What a straight bull rush at. I mean, oh my God, it's just, that's why I said, are we small? Because we're playing like we're finesse players. Everybody's a finesse. Oh, check these highlights. Like, no, man.
They're playing finesse up front and on the back end.
And on the back end.
Defense is playing finesse. And Adam Bauer said, try stunting up front. That's what I'm saying. They were running into each other, trying to run stunts. They tried to run stunts. It was
abysmal. I mean,
bad.
slow. And the stunts felt so far away from the lineman. That's the other thing. It wasn't like they were stunting it's like the loop felt so long. Like, I'm like, who are we stunting? It's like we stunting grass and not players because it wasn't getting no. So I don't know. Maybe we just go so simple where it's like we're going to determine if we got good enough players or not. We're just going to rush straight up the field. If we can rush straight up the field, that will cause more chaos than what we scheming demons up in the locker room. I mean, oh my gosh, like ever since Patricia came out with that coffee house stunt blitz where they stunted the linebacker and faked the man and out. Ever since then, we wanted to get cute like that. Or something, because it's too much to do that, and then they throw a drag route and run the whole way down the field, and it's just
man, look here, man. It was so that is I understand the 23 points or the 30 points. I don't know, dude. I'm talking about what I saw on the TV feed, and then what was confirmed on the game field. I'm like, yo,
yeah.
Yo,
I can see why Marcus Freeman is snapping at the podium about defense, because some of that stuff is like, I've been watching too many YouTube videos of like, but that's the thing. What's the identity of the D line? I thought it was supposed to be physical and all of this. I'm seeing a variety of individualism. I don't see because it comes to, okay, what is Al Washington's presence within the D line? Do they respect the dude? Are they, because conversely, Stan was like the Godfather. It was, maybe that's because Stan had an expectation, but Stan was just like, you knew that was his, whatever he was saying was affecting the players he was coaching. Like, these guys wasn't just good rolling to school. Like, no. You can tell, oh, he don't listen to Stan because he doing that one thing and he messing him up. Like, you can tell. What's Al Washington's go-to? Like, what's he known for? What's the resume buff that everybody's like, oh, we gotta go to Notre Dame because Al Washington over there. Like, how they talk about the D-line coach at Ohio State.
He got the guys he inherited to play well.
I'm saying though,
he got the guys he inherited to play well.
Deeper
and year by year, since he's gotten here, they have marginally improved against the run.
Against the run, yeah.
Against the run every year.
I can agree with that.
That pass rush
has not evolved. It's too lopsided. I'm saying, shoot, even Falsky's fifth year when he came back, he had sacks. I didn't even know about it. That's when the issue started. When he broke the record, I was like, wait, how many sacks he got? It just got worse from there. So that's why I'm saying, okay, is it a room culture? Justin Scott said he didn't want to come and he was better than all the dudes next to him. But when Will Black come to visit and Charles Jagusah come to visit, they like, just sit me in the room with the man. Give me 3 hours, forget the visit. Now, I'm not saying they have to say that about every coach, but I know the results that came from that. The results that came from them trusting in Stan and how the guys even come back. Has any D lineman come back to Notre Dame and teach the D lineman what they learn? We done put some in there now. Has Halbert Cross or Riley Mills came back to the D line and gifted the room with knowledge? And I mean, the O line is giving you the blueprint on how to have repeat success, not individual success. They get. So I don't know. That's why I'm saying there's examples on the team of what an impact of a coach is. Look at Marty Biaggi. The man done personalized special teams to where it became impactful in games for us last year. And I remember everybody hating on Coach Biaggi. Oh, special team, da da da. And I told you, I said, give him time. He's a really good coach. Next thing you know, we scoring every week, we blocking kicks and all type of crazy stuff. So yeah, good coaches affect the room that they're coaching. So if we got a question of production, we have to look at the coach in the room. We're not saying that he's a bad coach, but things that are constantly not addressed.
He has to wear it. He has to wear it.
I mean, Elston can take credit for recruiting his ass off. Like
Elston would develop pass rushers. Ed guys,
Ade,
Dalen, both of Aquars.
The Aquars, the twins, Jason and oh, he didn't recruit them. No, he didn't recruit them. He Tuitt, man, Elston.
He had Aaron Lynch.
Had Eshaq Williams, had some dudes. Elston recruited. That's one thing Elston can say that. He's like, listen, y'all can think whatever of me. I got in them dudes. Kelly can say that too. Kelly can say I got some dudes in the league. My resume's long for that. So, but Al Washington, RJ opened in fashion shows. So I know he ain't on the field nowhere. I just seen him doing some fashion show on Instagram. So what we putting out there?
Javonte Jean-Baptiste playing pretty nice for the Commanders.
He's playing, but he gonna claim Ohio State. We gotta watch.
Definitely gonna claim Ohio State. You
gotta watch his ticker
on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, what you gonna be listening? You gonna be listening now? You gonna be hearing what you got to say. So we gotta see where his loyalty lies first. But I'm sure that his experience is more about loving Notre Dame and not particularly his experience with Al Washington. I don't think Al Washington changed his game to whatever. So, and this is all to say that Al Washington is not a bad coach. I'm not saying that. I'm pointing to context clues of what is literally shown down the hall as an example for one room and the impact coaching does to it. Hell, even the comparison of what the coaching looks like now in that room compared to what it used to look like based on coaching. So, and that's taken in effect. So yeah, it really matters.
You have to be honest. The offensive line has gotten better every game.
Well, we start calling the plays better every game.
All I'm saying is the offensive line has performed better each game. They were better against Texas A&M than they were against Miami, especially in pass pro. We know left tackle in space. We don't need to labor that point. We don't.
We get it.
But the truth of the matter is they're a better unit now collectively than they were against Miami. I think part of that is Gerby Lambert is becoming a dude at right guard right before our very eyes. Okay. This kid might be that next first, second round pick on an
Aaron Banks.
Well, I think he might be better than Aaron Banks. He's
really?
A lot more athletic than Aaron Banks.
He's pretty athletic. I agree with that. So, Aaron Banks is solid now. Solid dude.
Man, solid. Really good NFL career. Really good NFL career.
I mean, you got some good lineage, man. I mean, a lot to look up to. The expectation, I think, keeps the O-line afloat, whether we have bad games or not. I think it's just gotten so critical and critiquish for the offensive line. Having one bad game, people think you terrible. Because we've been so consistently good for so long. It's like one bad game, guys. Y'all putting them dudes on the cross. We ain't talking about a string. We ain't talking about a string of bad games or a couple seasons or whatever. We talking about one loss, and y'all directly blame everything on the offensive line. Like they just the worst group of. They can't be that bad if they're getting better every week. Now the competition's getting easier in a sense, but still, none of this regular season stuff matters, guys, and you know it because the expectation is we thinking that first round, second round game and beyond. So until we can adjust our sliders, because that's really what they are, we got to adjust them sliders back. It's a good fandom to be in because it's so much we make of so little, and we're so popularized and spotlighted, which is great because we're still the tradition that can make college football still feel like college football.
Absolutely. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Subscribe on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. X, TikTok, Instagram at Lucky Lefty Pod. Bleav Network audio edibles all the time. Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Home of the misguided passion. Bless you. Forever committed to making sure we spin it different. All right, Left, it's time to hear from Mike Denbrock. Before we do that, I have become bougie. I have to confess.
Okay.
And ask for forgiveness of my sins. I've long been a fan of Chipotle. And you know, I have, by the grace of God, been able to lose considerable weight. And
eating Chipotle consistently?
When I go to Chipotle now, all I get is a veggie bowl. I get the salad because I prefer my lettuce on the bottom.
Right.
It's really a bowl. I just prefer my lettuce on the bottom rather than
That's
the top.
right.
So I order it as a salad. And then I get the white rice. I get the black beans, double black beans for more protein.
That's right.
And then I go ahead and get the extra fajitas along with the corn, tomato.
When they do fajitas right, they really be solid for real.
It's solid. And so that's what I used to get.
Undefeated.
And I have become very judgmental, right? Because I used to be the big back guy in Chipotle, getting double steak, double chicken, extra cheese, extra sour cream. You know what I'm saying?
Sour cream
queso.
See, I don't do queso.
Employee can barely close it up. That used to be me. Or if it was a burrito, they could barely roll it. Yeah, so now my eyes, I can just feel it within. I'm just judging people, dude. Because I'm sitting there watching them, and I'm just judging them when they're ordering and just putting all that stuff on there. And I'm like, man, you don't need all that. Man. What are you doing? Right?
No, you can eat it.
I just need to ask for forgiveness, man, because I have become Chipotle bougie. I really have, bro. I've become Chipotle bougie.
Now you sprinkling the vinaigrette on top.
Oh, that salad dressing is fire, though.
No, it is.
That salad dressing is fire. That salad dressing is fire.
Now they got the adobo ranch and the chimichurri sauce.
But somebody told me both of those were spicy.
The adobo ranch is spicy. I got the
That's
one
what I heard.
Cherry. I like, man, chimichurri go crazy.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sticking to my veggie because it's been a blessing to me.
Do you like the green sauce?
I don't do any of the green sauces, the green or the red. No, my wife gets the green Tabasco sauce that's actually in the bottle.
Ooh, yeah. You gotta put that in the purse.
Yeah, not in the purse. Have us out here straight thieving.
Chipotle knows. They restock it. They know that green sauce goes crazy.
Man, Lucky Lefty Podcast. So, offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock, he met with the media, and he says they're getting better as an offense.
We're making progress, right? And I think it gets a little better every rep, and it'll get a little better every week. And I'd like the trajectory of where we're going offensively. We played this week, and this is across the board, really, run game, pass game. with the consistency that we hadn't always displayed the first couple opportunities we had. And the consistency was much better and the result was much better. So, good Lord willing, lesson learned. And we continue to prepare the right way and give ourselves the best opportunity to put it on display on Saturday.
And then his check to phase on for the touchdown was obviously a talking point. How many redshirt freshmen can do that in game 3? And what's the balance of giving him more while not letting him be detrimental to himself?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a balancing act with, you know what I mean, with freedom, right? You love it when it works, and there's been other times where we've tapped things out where we haven't been as successful. So it's you know what I mean. It's given him an opportunity to experience being the quarterback and being in control, and ultimately, the more we can turn over to the quarterback, the better offensive unit we're going to be, because they're the ones playing the game. And we ask a lot of the quarterback, and that check that he made in particular between him and Faison, and the communication was spot on and what we needed at the moment. And we got a great result because of it.
Has DJ surprised you by how well he's picking things up? I guess that's my question. Because you expect, he's giving us a freshman mistake every game. Like every game, all right, that's a freshman mistake. That's a freshman mistake. You expect it. But has he surprised you with the way he's been able to pick up things and progress offensively?
I mean, not really. We're not really asking him to be like a Malik Washington, where Malik Washington is winning them boys games. I mean, the whole freshman playing early thing, cat is out of the bag. These dudes that are ready and that are the right type of quarterback that are playing early are usually pretty solid, you know. So the expectation is already set at a certain height where, you know, I'm not, you know, some of these things are just like, okay, that's what you're supposed to do as a starter at XYZ. I think CJ has done like you said, he's made some freshman mistakes that we account for in some of these games. That's why when he had the turnover, I'm just like, he give us one a game. Whether it's his fault or not, he's going to give you one a game. That's just because he's working through things and he's experiencing things he's never been there before. So he'll clean that up, hopefully. But in terms of making the throws when he's asked to, I like that he's getting more poised and comfortable doing that, running the checks and tapping out things and gaining that confidence and trust in the Denbrock's offense, because Denbrock's offense isn't necessarily complicated. I mean, you watched it. It's like a middle school offense mixed with some flea flickers, and we're just going to be consistent. I think Denbrock's excited about the trajectory because we only use a couple players. I mean, we haven't even tapped into half of the other offensive skill players that we have. So I think that's what he's excited about, because now that we got a baseline that, okay, we can beat all these teams just running the ball and throwing it down the field to MALIK. To progress as an offense for the playoffs and beyond, we got to be able to tap into different guys and define their roles a little bit more, so when we need to call on them, we know what to go to. Because teams that are better than teams that are going to play, I'm not going to say they're going to stop Jadarian and Jeremiah Love, but we can get scared off of it. I believe Denbrock has been scared off of getting back to the run to close the game or whatever, just because, you know, for whatever reason. But it's happened a lot in big games. Championship games, scared off of the run. Not that we can't run. See, that's that's why I'm like, I don't like the whole Miami shut us down, this and that. We didn't challenge you guys to run the football. We didn't challenge Ohio State to run the football. Not when you give Jeremiah Love the ball 4 times. You can't convince me that we challenged him. So I think that once we're able to be comfortable finding that routine of giving those 2 the ball at least 35 times combined, flake in some creativity and some more freedom, I guess that's what they're saying, for CJ to branch out to other receivers, because that's going to come in handy down the line against better secondaries, right? Like, MALIK is always a good option, but we may need to go somewhere else and need to depend on that third corner matchup versus a Faison or a Pauling or a Greathouse or whatever. So this team's just not going to let you just throw goals and post to MALIK one-on-one all season. That's just, there's enough tape on CJ that where they're going to be like, okay, we know they already did the whole, Twitter's crazy because Twitter be trying to expose too much and it takes away from stuff where they did the pass run picture for CJ. I mean, this was back when I played, that wouldn't have been a thing that was viral. I mean, the thing was everywhere. So if Twitter detectives start picking up tendencies and stuff that you're doing, you got some things to work on. But overall, I would just, it's not much you can say until we go against something that I think is going to give CJ a challenge. Right now, this is CJ's wheelhouse. You got him the right receivers, the right offensive line, the right running game. The thing, you got all those three things, anybody can be pretty good. Not anybody, but most people with talent. You can go a long way if you got, two of the best running backs in the, how Drew LR get so nice? Two of the best running backs in the nation. And then he throw his couple go balls and, whatever. And then so we're going to see.
Super chat. ND Milton fan, thank you for the super chat. What are the things CJ is able to do at a high level that Riley couldn't? What does CJ do, or do you think he will do at an elite level?
I believe CJ is really good at, like we talked about earlier, not being a drive killer. And he can complement the run game really well with completing passes in necessary spots within a drive, whether that be third and long, third and short, first down, and you need the big shot to get the drive going. He's been fairly accurate when he's needed to be in times where we're not just overhauling him with a bunch of throws. We ain't giving him 53 throws where he can just be a volume shooter. So in the times, 12 passes, you got to be locked in, focused, on time. It's a very specific script. You don't have a lot of wiggle room to just be warming up or missing throws because those throws, all 12, are in flow, critical points. We need them throws. So his ability to be locked in for those type of plays that is asked of him, I think something that Riley was conversely terrible at, where, hell, we needed to give him about 10 throws before he started getting the rhythm. We needed to get about 10 throws for him to start feeling that he can see the field. He couldn't even see the field. For the first 3 games, when he left the pocket, he didn't know who he was looking at. He was running. CJ get out the pocket, he'll stand there, he'll point a couple guys out, he'll wait to the last second, he'll do a little ball fake. Like he's got that part of his game in there because he knows he's locked in on that. So that's, I think, his gamesmanship as well as his poise and his just quarterbacking of the game. Like Riley is more like your video game, switch my tight end to quarterback, let him run around, that kind of thing. So I'm not going to diminish him as a quarterback, but CJ's got the little crazy quarterback thing in him. I like that about him. So I think if he continues to expand on that, he's going to be a great game manager that'll have moments where he can be elite. But as a standalone, I don't think he's like Trevor Lawrence. I don't think he's Trevor Lawrence as just a superior athlete, just got it all. But, man, he's a hell of a gamer. And that's going to win you a lot. And I would like to see that at its highest level against the Georgias, Ohio States, but that'll come.
He's messing with you, love. ND Milton fan says, is Notre Dame's best defender really Canadian?
It must be if we playing this bad.
Lefty podcast. We go back to Mike Denbrock, who talked about the unselfishness amongst the running backs.
Tremendous. I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's been that way all year, you know, and even last year. I mean, those guys understand that there's a lot of really talented football players in that room. It obviously starts with J Love and JD, but there's others as well. And those guys, the camaraderie that's in that room, how they trust, love, and respect one another, you know, it's not just kind of coach speak. It's real. And you can see that by the way they play, because when they get their opportunity, they're all on point with what they're doing.
I mean,
go ahead, Lef.
You get started.
No, I was going to mention it was pretty cool. And for those of you, because it's been all over social media, Jadarian Price had 3 touchdowns already, gets tackled at the 2-yard line, and then looks to the sideline to tell Jeremiah Love to come in so he can get his 3rd. So they both can have 3 touchdowns. Like, that's just special. That's special. We're going to hear from Jeremiah Love talking about the love he has for Jadarian Price coming up. But that bond is for Jadarian Price to say no to the NIL money, for him to be perfectly fine with being 1B behind Jeremiah Love and flourishing in that role. It tells you a lot about both young men. Actually, both young men need a tip of the cap, the way they handle.
I mean, what are you going to say? It's 1 and 2, left and right, P in the pod. It's nothing that you can, you know, it's bad PR to say anything else. I mean, come on. I mean, you guys are both getting the love and the money. And Jeremiah Love, you know, it's just a lot more respectable just to play into it. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, you can only say the wrong things in a situation like this because everybody's winning. He's making the most out of his chances because I'm sure they both probably want the ball more deep down. But it's all love when, hell, I mean, you winning right now if you're a Notre Dame running back. You're getting the money. The money's real. The money's real solid. You staying healthy. You winning games because of y'all too. So it's a lot of brotherhood within that, and I'm sure there's competition within it too. But it's definitely not as community as last year. So let's just keep that. Let's point that out. It's the 2-man show, not a 5-man show. Let's just acknowledge that. Last year was a 5-man show.
Only reason because Jawan Sider, who I trust, when he says something that he's going to keep to his word, he flat out said Kedron Young was going to play this year. He said that.
Yeah.
In camp, he said, yo, I had to figure out why didn't you play last year? He's going to play this year. So I really do think it would have been a 3-man with Kedron and those two, especially with Aeneas being injured. But unfortunately, he has the ACL. And,
where's Jawan?
Enduring hardness he's enduring hardness as a good soldier.
Oh man, but listen,
I mean,
it's just it's at that point. I mean, Jadarian Price made Notre Dame play him more. I mean, dude, because I mean, for reals, there's games where he only got 1 carry, maybe none, maybe 2. It just became those. You end up getting 4 and 3-word touchdown. I mean, you at some point you gotta be like, look, even though we got one of the better players in college football, he's gotta play. So that's ideally what every college football coach wants as a situation. They want their main guy to be their main guy, and then whenever the backup gets in, do what main guy stuff does. Just score touchdowns on minimal carries. That's like what we're doing right now. It's just unrealistic for a combo in college football. It's unrealistic. It's unrealistic to think that your backup can score as many touchdowns as carries while your main guy goes crazy as well. That's like the dream situation. Not even Penn State's doing that,
Yeah. Mike Denbrock was asked about the message to his offense going into this matchup against Arkansas.
It's going to be much the same as the first, right? It's going to be hostile. It's going to be loud. We're going to have to handle the environment, keep our poise, do a really good job of understanding that, we have to walk in there in lockstep, ready to communicate with each other, ready to do what's necessary from a sacrifice standpoint to make sure Notre Dame wins on Saturday.
It seemed the O-line been a little less polling last week. Is that something to build on, or is that kind of game specific just due to their fronts?
Yeah, it's more scheme, week to week type of thing. We'll see how it goes. Certain defenses kind of lend themselves a little bit more to that than others, but there's always going to be some element of that every week in what we do in the run game.
Yeah, I think we got a rhythm. Hopefully we just see more of the guys we are excited to see. Maybe we see a new individual pop up in the Notre Dame sphere of getting the football. It's just unfortunate, guys. We got one football and a bunch of guys that need the football. And it's at Denbrock and CJ's discretion how they deal it out. And unfortunately, we got some guys that just, hey, listen, they have to get the ball. It's like your favorite restaurant. Sometimes it's just not – certain tables are just booked, always. Your favorite restaurant in Chicago, Sean, your RSVP, you just know tables are going to be booked no matter what day you call, what time you call. It's just the table 7 and table 13, they just book. So in a game plan of Notre Dame offense, 30-40% is blocked out. It's like redacted. It's like you can't, it's already done what it is. But that's a good thing because identity is placed within that. You have to build around that. So 30-40% of the game plan is blocked out. Now everything else is, okay, how we take on these matchups. And I think Denbrock's really good at that.
I think Denbrock looks like a coach that knows he is still unlocking pages in that LSU playbook. That's why he was talking about Kenny being added. He's like, ooh, I can go to the Jaden Daniels pages and pull out some stuff.
He said, I go to because I know just the play calls look like he wants to. Yeah. I'm like, ooh, Kenny could have been nice in that package right there. Kenny could, not saying that, that CJ.
If you saw, I'm sorry, go ahead, finish your statement, love.
Yeah, I was just saying, not that CJ can't, it's just that you're unlocking all the things that we got. I mean, come on. If CJ and Kenny were that neck and neck and that even and that compatible and they sold whatever, there's no reason that you should keep him off the field. If we are giving CJ all this love, like he's the guy, he's the franchise dude. Oh, we found the one. Look at the poise. Nobody's talking about how this ball looks so beautiful. Well, there's another guy that we were splitting hairs with that's sitting on the bench too. From reports is just as good. It's just as good. Because remember, Marcus Freeman told you the only reason he decided CJ was because he had a gut feeling. A gut feeling. Like he, whatever he ate that night before just favored him to go CJ that next morning. Because it wasn't like he sat there and told you, oh, he can do one thing the other kid can't. So Denbrock's like, shoot, okay, we know CJ can ball, but shoot, I got a couple plays in here that a la carte. A la carte for Kenny Minchie.
And just to say that, he says that as they head into this Arkansas game, where Arkansas's defense, who has a really big front, they actually have a 6'5", 345-pound defensive tackle, DeFraud, that actually got dragged 5 yards by a freshman quarterback on 38 for 11 yards to close out the game against Memphis. I just want to point that out. But
just point it out.
He's 345 pounds. And the reason Kenny might have come up this week is because the quarterback for Memphis, Brendan Lewis, ran for 103 yards on 16 carries.
And then you put two of the best running backs next to him. You come on, man. Now I'm not saying Kenny's Lamar Jackson, but I know that Kenny is closer to Riley than CJ is. I'll tell you that. I just don't see why not. If we're gonna be scoring 56 points with two guys, and you got a bunch of dudes sitting there, you gotta start playing the bigger picture. I gotta get guys the ball just to keep them here. I don't see why there wasn't that. Because in my opinion, if the quarterback competition was this close and this tight and this neck and neck and they're this equally talented at 42-20 with 10 minutes left in the third, I don't see why Kenny could have gotten in there and ran a couple of Kenny plays. Everybody else was subbing in. I mean, if Marcus Freeman
he played 2 series. What else did you want from him?
Two series ain't good enough for a neck and neck guy. We was beating the snot out of him.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. We was beating them so bad. I mean, we're gonna be beating a lot of teams in the 50s and 60s. I'm just saying, if we doing a 1A, 1B roster, maybe he's the first ever to say, hey.
You basically want that cat to be disrespectful like Lou Holtz was up in West Lafayette in 1991 when he literally brought in the backups in the first quarter up 14-0. It was the craziest thing I ever saw, man. They're on the road against Purdue. Reg tells this story. Maybe I'll have him come on and tell it. Literally, he calls out, hey, twos. And everybody's kind of on the sideline like, twos?
Maybe we could be the best team. Seriously, maybe we could be the first team in history, in college football history, to have the best pair of running backs and quarterbacks in the country. Why not? We playing Jeremiah Love is undoubtedly a top 5 college football player right now. Undoubtedly. But Jadarian Price is on the field scoring touchdowns right next to him. So we saying we know it's a pecking order. That's fine. But if we doing that, why can't we do the same for the quarterbacks? They're both talented. Clearly, we like CJ a little bit more. But hey, it ain't like we're going CJ to Drew Pond.
Unless Kenny is running packages, there's no need for Kenny Minchie to be on the field. Unless he has a specific package. Dog, I'm not about to get into this, bro. This cat CJ Carr is playing his tail off. I'm not.
CJ is playing his tail off. CJ is playing. I'm not down.
Now, if you want to call a certain play, Mike Denbrock, he should. Like if you feel like certain plays can go with a certain defense, especially in the RPO game, like what he did against Miami. If he was doing that with Kenny and could keep those defensive ends honest, I have no problem with the play calls because I understand it. Like you said, to do that with CJ, it really didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. So I'm not saying even a package. Like, if you have something that you want to get to that you think can be effective, and Kenny is the best guy to run that, by all means, run it. Run it because you have guys that can do it. Like literally, the game wasn't over. Memphis got the fumble. They were backed up on their 2-yard line. Arkansas had 3 timeouts, and it was 47 seconds on the clock. Arkansas still had time to get the ball back and get into field goal range. It was literally 3rd and 8. And the Memphis squad, it was 3rd and 8, and Memphis literally brought in their backup quarterback, who's a better runner, and he ran and got the first down.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with that. I agree.
He ran and got the first down.
That's a good
Most
idea.
people are like, you crazy. You put in your backup right here.
If we're gonna be sending CJ out to the receiver slot and direct snap, I don't see why we can't add Kenny in there. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, Mike Denbrock said he had a plan, spoke about it this week. And so, we'll see. But I mean, most defenses I watched this year struggled to stop the quarterback run in the run game. They do. But Memphis did a good job of shutting down Taylor Green in the run game, because one thing I can tell you, when Arkansas gets stifled offensively, they're going to use Taylor Green in the run game to get going. That is what they go to.
Absolutely. They
That's what they go
going
to.
right to him.
They're going right back to the run game with the quarterback. That's what they go to.
Because that's an example of them not having something else. We got something else. We can go throw it around if it ain't working. But unfortunately for other teams, we got something that's unstoppable.
Yeah. All right. Let's hear from the players now. Left on the way out. Been a great show today. Thank you for the super chats. GTBs, get them in if you have a few more, because we'll definitely respond. Jeremiah Love talking about the running backs.
We believe that, no matter who we're up against, we're going to go out there and make plays. Only people that we think that can stop us is ourselves. At the end of the day, that's literally what we think happens whenever we don't have success. We make errors. It's because of ourselves, and we own that. And next play or next game or next week or whatever it may be, we fix our errors and just go out there and do our best and throw shots, create explosive runs, whatever it may be. It's offense. We got a lot of confidence that they're one of the best in the nation.
And then a little random, but what makes Notre Dame's linebacker group tough to go against in the run game, just given you go against them every day?
I would say each of our linebackers have a unique skill set. Going against Drake, Bowen, Jaden Osbury, and Sneed every day, it's not something I enjoy. But they're very, very great competitors, very, very great athletes, and we, help each other get better every single day. Wouldn't rather, go against any other group to better myself every single day. Wouldn't rather be a part of any other, team with those guys on it. But yeah, great linebackers, very competitive. We better each other every single day.
Spoken like a true favorite player. He's not too worried about the fanfare, man. He's just ready to make plays. And you can appreciate his confidence and the excitement that he has, that he feels like he can make the guys around him better. And that's just something that you want to hear from your best player. And then to have him be complimentary of other guys around him is just even better.
Yeah, and then he talked about, why are you guys so unselfish in the running back room? This is what J. Love had to say.
We aren't selfish. Me personally, I want to see every one of my guys eat. I want everybody to have their, time in the spotlight, their time in the sun, and their opportunity to, do something great. And I know that when an opportunity comes for any of us, we're going to go out there and put on for our room, for our team, and for ourselves. But at the end of the day, I got a lot of love for those guys. There's no better feeling in the world to me, seeing one of my guys that I train with every single day that I than just been with ever since my time here, seeing them go out there and have success, like me going out there and seeing JD do what he did last game, like it was a great feeling because, I see the work that he puts in every single day, every single week. And, JD, I feel like is one of the best running backs in the country. And I feel like a lot of people don't see that because there's just other factors. And a lot of people try to shine a spotlight on me here and there, and like, a lot of people just don't realize JD, he's one of the best running backs in the country. Like, he creates explosive runs like that. Like, any point in the game, like, you need JD to show up. He's going to show up. Pass pro, he's going to show up. Out in the space, he's going to show up. Like, JD's that guy to me, and I look up to him, or I've looked up to him ever since I've, been at Notre Dame. He got very fast feet, so I try to incorporate that into my game. Just seeing JD, the way he works every day, like, I respect it a lot. But one of the best running backs in the country.
Yeah, I mean, running back is such an egalitarian position because it's such a everybody can do it, and it's a very encouraging type of position because at the end of the day, nobody likes to get hit that much. So spreading the love and still having success is one of the few positions at running back that you can truly have such a everybody can win type of attitude. You know, it just that same type of spirit just doesn't apply to quarterback room, doesn't apply to receivers. But it's good when both of your best players can be running backs. And the fact that they, I think if anything, they know that they're different but still great. It's not like we got two Aldrich Estimes battling each other because their styles are the same. I think they're different in the perfect way that makes them respectable to each other, because I don't think that there's things that one can do that one feels like, okay, he can have that, but I got this. He can have it. So it's not like a selfish thing you can even have. I mean, hey, I'm getting it this many times, and then when you get it, you're doing good, and I get back in. So it's a very, it's a great thing to have, man. And I think it's rare that we're able to keep that balance and still have all this other talent to play a part too.
Yeah, I agree 100% with you. That is absolutely amazing that you have that type of buy-in and unselfishness, and that it continued with a new running back coach who has shortened the carries or given the bulk of the carries to the top two guys in comparison to what his predecessor did. Regardless of that shift, the unselfishness in that room, like you said, we got to see freshman Nolan James come in and play against Purdue. And so that was a pleasant surprise to get to see that young man come in and do his thing. So I love what exists between Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price, and not just them, the entire running back room. You even see it on the practice field. So I think it's absolutely amazing. One of the great surprises is Gerby Lambert and how he has progressed since the Miami game and kind of taken over the reins of that right guard position. He talked about being settled in at right guard.
I think it's been extremely beneficial. I mean, when you can settle down at any position, I feel like it's good. Obviously, I'm still working tackle here and there, not as much, primarily guard, but I think it's obviously good when you can settle down and just focus on one position.
And then Coach Freeman has talked about you guys going through necessary growing pains to get to where you want to go. I guess, where are you a better player now than 3 games ago? Oh,
100%. Coach Rudolph was saying, first time starting, the biggest improvement you're going to have is from your first game to your second game. I feel like I really saw that, especially in the past game. I feel like I really stepped it up. Got in the film room with Billy, with Coach Rudolph, and I feel like week by week I'm just going to keep getting better.
It's a well-spoken brother right there. I think he's aware of his progress and his evolution, and the tenacity that he has to work to get better. And that's all you can really ask for. It's not so much about having a bad game as how you recover from it, and he gets that part of it. And when you got a good old line culture, it's easy to kind of find yourself in the process of how to get better. And I think that's where a lot of unit struggles, that they don't know how to get better. I mean, we heard it from our own receiver room a couple of years ago, where guys were independently researching how to get better just to go to practice. So for a culture to be strong, to give Gerby Lambert the tools he needs to build his own process of getting better, and he can see it real time and get coached the right way, I think is a part of where the development is so strong for our offensive line group, and you're just seeing the results of it. So even though we all may start bad and the fans think we're regressing every year at offensive line, the one thing that has been consistent over the years is that throughout every season, no matter how bad it looked at the beginning, we end up finishing stronger at the end.
Lucky Lefty podcast. Let's go to the defensive side of the ball with Jaden Alsbury. And Jaden Alsbury has some interesting takes on the defense getting better and them putting in that work.
Practicing hard every day, putting a big emphasis on the run game is something that, I feel like we've always done here. I feel like that's just, standard for the Notre Dame defense. So really just playing hard, physical, executing our keys. And yeah, I think that's really, really allowed us to play good in the games and stopping the run. So.
And then the sack where you and Bleav Carr kind of met at the quarterback. Can you kind of describe that play? Because it looked like everybody had a specific job and it kind of worked.
Yeah, it was so it was like a kind of like a man play, and then I was like, step, come around. I feel like it's a great pressure because, they didn't have enough people to block us, and, everybody, when they one-on-one, everybody did their job, so.
He feels confident. I like the player's mindset. A lot of disappointment coming out of these, difficult times for them. A lot of people are piling on disappointment. Like you said, the expectation after 2 years of having a great defense, the expectation and that bar had been set pretty high. And, as Malik told everyone during the offseason, expect a step back. And maybe people really didn't want to hear that. But that's something that we're going through as fans, trying to come to the reality of what sets before us. He also talked about the keys to this game defensively. What are the keys?
We're going to have to follow our keys. We're going to have to execute. We're going to have to send pressure, keep them in the pocket. But at the end of the day, I feel like if we do what we have to do, then, that's going to show on Saturday. I feel like if we just keep coming out here, keep getting better, and do what, a Notre Dame defense is supposed to do, then, we'll go out there and do what we got to do. So
the crazy thing is, what are you supposed to do? I think Notre Dame fans are like confused because we don't know what it is that you're supposed to do. If Jaden Osbury is saying that exact same thing last year with Al Golden, where we knew the identity of this defense, you feel a lot more comfortable about what he just said. But when he says, if we just come out here and do what we're supposed to do, what is that exactly? What is that up front? What is the plan to get to the quarterback? I see the plan to stop the run. What is the plan to cover on the back end? What is it? Is the plan still using 4 to 5 different coverages on one drive with no pre-snap confusion for the quarterback? You're just going to sit there in the coverage so he can read it pre-snap and then know exactly where to go? You're not going to disguise anything like Al Golden used to do? This is what Notre Dame fans are kind of confused about. We hear that, it sounds good, but I don't know if fans can really buy into it. One of the biggest surprises for this defense is defensive tackle Gabriel Rubio, who has been excellent against the run, has even provided some pass rush. This is what he had to say about the success of the Notre Dame run defense this year.
Getting our cleats in the ground, getting the calls off the sideline. Communication's a big must, and I think we've definitely improved on that as a defense as a whole.
And then Coach Freeman talked about how important it was to kind of contain the B gap against a little quarterback. What's kind of the challenge of doing that as an interior guy, but also kind of obviously making sure you get a pass rush?
Yeah, definitely reading the slide, trusting your brother that he's going to be there and he's going to work off of you and you're going to work off of him. It's just camaraderie on the interior side, and just getting the play called, getting it done.
Yeah, I want to see you guys get the play call and get lined up consistently. That's what I want to see. A lot of confusion in the first half on that defensive line. The play calls, late shifts. Man, get set, know your job, do your job, and stay off the ground. But Gabriel Rubio, you have been balling, my brother. You have been brawling. Hunter H., I hear you. Unfortunately, Geno did not recruit C.J. Carr. Tommy Rees did. Tommy Rees got C.J. Carr's commitment, not Geno Gaduli. So that has absolutely nothing to do with Geno. And I'm not so sure I actually agree right now with the way CJ is playing. One might have more upside because it's the ability to use his legs. But with the offense and the running back room that they have moving forward, I'm perfectly fine with CJ Carr being the quarterback for the next 2 years. Because I saw somebody in the chat saying CJ looks like a 4-year starter. CJ Carr won't be here for 4 years, ladies and gentlemen. If he continues to play well, CJ might be gone after next year. If he continues to play well. He just might be. Maybe he comes back for a 3rd year. But if he plays well, 2 consecutive years at Notre Dame at quarterback, yeah, he'll have some draft buzz, most definitely. Lucky Lefty podcast. So thank you everybody that joined us today. We heard from the players, we heard from Mike Denbrock, and we talked about how is Notre Dame and Arkansas going to handle success and adversity on Saturday. If you go over to FanDuel right now, you'll see that Notre Dame is a 4.5-point favorite as they get ready to go down to Fayetteville. 11 a.m. kickoff, early kickoff. Don't forget, have you some breakfast, get up, and come watch Notre Dame take care of business. 4.5-point favorites. And then the over-under total is still at 64.5. So if Notre Dame can play some defense, maybe that hits the under on that total at 64.5. You can find it over at FanDuel.com. Download the FanDuel app. Please, we appreciate your support on Apple Podcasts and Spotify on Bleav Network. Continue to support us and subscribe on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up. Helps with the views. Not only that, go ahead and leave your comments, questions, because we indeed respond to all. And at Lucky Lefty Pod on TikTok, X, and Instagram. Home of the misguided passion. And we're forever committed to making sure that we spin it different for you. Domo Wop, I saw what you posted. Sister Jean of Loyola Chicago is retiring. That is fantabulous news. Got a chance to meet her a couple of times when I was working in the media here in Chicago. She is an absolute joy to be around. Absolute joy, a Chicago treasure, a Loyola Chicago treasure, and just an all-around great human being. Salute to you and everything you've done, not only for your community, this city, but for Loyola Chicago. As you say, Doma Wop, God bless her. Absolutely, God bless her. So for Left, SD2 mics, we're about to go record a couple of shows and a couple of things that Left is going to post over at patreon.com. So patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network. 4 for 40 with Reggie Brooks. Episode 3 of 4 for 40 with Reggie Brooks should be up within the next couple of hours over at patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network. Once again, patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network. God bless you, and we thank you for your support in advance. For Left SD2 mics, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, but most of all, make sure that you continue to spin it different.